yesterday, we heard from one of the leaders of the APC. Tonight, let's listen and speak to one of the leaders of the opposition political party in all of this. Whether or not they are also part of these, in one way, it's a political movement in the sense that almost all of the agenda or the demands are political in nature, if you ask, because they are governance related and are asking political action by the government. Now, I'm being joined by the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Alhaji Shehu Gabam. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. It's a pleasure having you in our studio tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
Sean, once again, it's nice to see you.
Thank you.
It's confirmed that fake news is fake news.
Fake news is
nice
fake
to
news.
see you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alhaji. Let's begin. What I want to know the stand of your party towards the End Bad Governance protest. Is it something that your party subscribes to? And is it partaking in it?
Well, I don't know about End Bad Governance protest, as you call it. But as a party, we have taken a position. We have endorsed peaceful protests, devoid of any act of violence or anarchy or killing or barbarism. We have drawn lines of our endorsements, line with the provision of the Constitution, where citizens are guaranteed to protest peacefully by disagreeing with the policies and programs of the government. And I like the developments. The nation have woken up. The organs of government are functioning. The elders of the country are talking. The stakeholders are coming together, which means that we are getting somewhere, and it is possible to avert it if the government take responsibility, take necessary steps to stop it from happening. Nobody will pray for anarchy. I was privileged to be in Liberia and Sierra Leone after the war. I've gone around. I've not seen any building standing without being pierced by bullets. I have been to Borno during the height of Boko Haram and Yobe. I cried. Nobody beat me. The sufferings, the buffer zones you see around Borno and Yobe states. So no decent person would love to see anarchy in his own country. Certainly not me and not our party.
I guess one of the major problems here is the lessons from the NSAS and the aftermath of the NSAS protest, which has caused, if you ask Lagos, Lagos will tell you that, yes, the voices of the Nigerian young people and Nigerians were heard loudly, but those things that have happened in the aftermath, which has led a bad taste in the mouth. And you look at structures and millions of naira worth of infrastructures that are being flattened by some of our scrupulous elements who have taken chance and taking advantage of that protest. Perhaps this is what is scaring the government of the day, do you think?
The government have every right to be scared. Every citizen have the right to be scared. Nobody know how it will turn into. Nobody pray for ignitement of crisis or violence anywhere in the world. Lagos is still recovering from the NSAS damage and barbarism it has caused. And then, of course, whatever plan people had is likely to be infiltrated. I led a protest of SDP to the National Assembly under Buhari regime. And the Commissioner of Police was with me. He guided the process. He provided security agencies. We did the protest very, very peacefully. So I don't know the organizers. I've never met with the organizers. But what we are saying as a party, which we draw the attention of the federal government so many times, including on this program, we told Mr. President that taking a decision without proper calculation will lead to undesired consequences. These are the consequences we are talking about that they are trying to prevent at the last minute. And the factors are extremely very clear. The level of poverty, nobody can give you the accurate statistic of what it is. The level of unemployment, nobody can give you accurate statistic of what it is. Now, the level of hunger that have enveloped the country, the food supply chain have been cut off tremendously. And that is why the foodstuff have gone to the roof. Now, if you compare this with what people are earning and what people are struggling to do to keep life going, you know that these are almost inevitable. The palliative processes the government have brought in have no any major effects. Recently, I saw the distribution of 20 trailers of rice to almost all the states of the Federation. It cannot take care of Nyanya alone if you distribute it in Abuja today. So what they need to do at the period that we are, the farming season period, I expect strategic intervention from the government. But number one, what I expect this president should do as the number one citizen is to address the country. This is my first expectation.
It should address it like a nationwide address.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, my own advice to him as somebody who knows him is for him to address the nation. All other things are secondary layers.
What would that do to the agitation?
Let me tell you what it will do. People are angry because so many perceptions have been created out there. The president has been catch out. Nobody reached out to him. You hear it from stakeholders, from senators, from so many other groups that nobody has access to, including his ministers. He needs to clear this perception that no, Nigerians, I know what is going on. I have access to all their complaints. I will address it. This is what I'm going to do. A, B, C, D. This is the time of implementation. This is what I expect from the president. Relying on the second layers of dishing out information at this critical time is not advisable for him. He is the #1 stakeholder. He is the one to bear the brunt. He is the one who applied for the job. He is the one who is going to correct the problem. So he needs to address the nation beyond any other thing. I'm happy the traditional rulers and others are intervening. I'm happy the security agencies are coming up, are doing thorough investigation, coming up with some people who they identify as organizers. So if they know the organizers, what they need to do as a government is a quick intervention. Sit down with them, dialogue with them, find out what the problems are. And of course, if there are criminal elements that will hijack the process, the essence of having security all over the world is to create deterrence. That is the only reason why we have army, we have SSF, we have police, is simply to create deterrence, to deal with extreme elements who don't believe in a simple way of doing things.
And I'd like to ask you, because the role of the military had come out to say they will not allow a breakdown of law and order. Is it constitutional? Would it be right to see the military on the road on that day? And what kind of messaging will it, because there are constitutionally guaranteed role of the different strata and different layers of security in the country, and the roles of the security agents. The police is saddled with the responsibility of policing the nation to be helped and assisted by the sister agencies such as road safety, for traffic management, the NSCDC to protect critical infrastructure. But the military, in a civil engagement, can they be visible? Is it likely? Should they be seen? That's the question right now.
Well, it's a clear signal that the government is in a panic mood. And in a panic mood, they have to use every arm of government to create fears in the minds of the people. For me, that is not the right thing to do. The entire gamut of government is about diplomacy. That's the entire gamut of government. It's about humanity and it's about humility. Your approach in solving issues, the rhetoric you use will determine how far it will go. Now, I don't expect army to come out, even though they have the right, if the red line is being crossed, for them to intervene to guide the territorial integrity of Nigeria, to avoid external influence being used to undermine the country, which is very okay. But I think the situation have not reached to the level to which they are raising the alarm. These are containable issues.
But you don't think perhaps that it's more of intelligence gathering? Because if you hear what the DSS has said, I mean, the DSS don't speak unless they have some intelligence. And this is the lead agency in the country that handles intelligence. So when they come out to say, we have information, we know those who are funding, the collaborators. I mean, don't you think that there is some sense and wisdom in what the DSS is saying when they come out to say, look, there are plot and sinister motives of some people, unscrupulous elements who are in the guise of trying to promote these protests, wanting to scuttle the peace of the country?
The primary reason why the DSS was established is to generate intelligence and prevent crime. And they are doing their job perfectly well. And I respect, their intelligence gathering system. Now, it's about to generate intelligence and to prevent crime from happening. After generating the intelligence, is to engage the actors that they have identified and find a way to reduce the magnitude of the damage that is likely to cause. They can do it silently. If need be, they can do it very openly. But what I'm saying, at this stage that we are, what the nation needs, what the youth need, who are angry, who are impoverished, that have enveloped the country, is a voice that have the capacity to penetrate them biologically. Language that matters in all wars that you see It is language that creates war. How you present them and how you manage them and how government have diplomats and communication experts to engage the populace.
Let me ask you, Alhaji Gabam, would you be participating in that protest on the 1st?
No, I will not participate. What I'm doing...
Would your party be participating?
No, our party support those who want to do it peacefully. We have said it openly. We address what...
But you will not join them?
We are not going out to join the protest, but we told them, we guided that you do it within the ambit of the law. Don't carry even a scissors. Don't carry a razor. But you are free to carry a placard.
But will you be supporting them in some ways?
Well, there is no way I can support them more than what I'm saying. I'm supporting my nation. I'm not supporting the protesters. I'm supporting the law.
You don't think that the protesters have good cause for going to the streets?
That's what I'm saying.
Do they have good cause?
They have good cause so long as it's not going to be violent.
But are you sure there won't be violence?
No, I'm not sure. There's no way I can be sure.
So we cannot guarantee that there won't be violence?
You can only guarantee if you know the organizers who made an undertaking that there will never be violence. So long as you cannot identify them physically, there's no communication between organs of government and them. There's no any certainty on that.
Let me ask you, I mean, there are accusing fingers being pointed at the political class, that politicians are behind all of this. You are leading a major political party. And when those accusing fingers, it is you and your friends that those accusing fingers. Why would you politicians want to bring down the nation? Because elections are over. When we imagine that...
I disagree with that language.
But the political class are being blamed for being behind all of this.
It's easy to blame the... I don't know who are the political class.
Well, the intentions of calling the government to order for the actions or inactions relating to how it affects the lives and the livelihoods of Nigerians, right. But when the government is coming, especially the intelligence agency, saying that there are sinister motives, then one is worried that those kind of motives, why will politicians, for example, be wanting to bring down the nation in the name of peace in the guise of peaceful protest?
I don't know any politician that I'm sitting here that is funding the protesters.
And you don't think politicians can?
Number two, Sean, let me also tell you, this current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Muhammadu Buhari, and a host of others, including religious scholars, participated in the protest. You could remember that. At a point when Tuba Kadibo was part of it, they were tear gassed. So it's not as if this is the first time of having a peaceful protest. It's not the first time. Now, it's not as if we're incapable of handling the situation. It's not as if the security agencies are incapable of identifying those behind it. It's not as if they're incapable of controlling the situation. Now, controlling the situation doesn't mean you use coercion at all costs. And it doesn't mean you will panic the country. Because what I'm saying is like panicking the country, you know, of what is likely to be happen. Now, if you are sure that the magnitude of the situation is as bad as they are presenting,
and
then they are raising fingers,
like a doomsday.
Yes, they are making it to look like a doomsday, like nobody is going to survive. And then if they are accusing finger on the political actors or political parties, what stopped them from convening a meeting of the political leaders to discuss with them? What stopped the government from doing that? We are part of the country.
But we are part of the government if they keep quiet also and things escalate and escalate badly?
No, nobody said the government should keep quiet.
Yeah.
But what we are saying, government have a channel of communication to its citizens. The first reason why you aspire to be a president is because you have the skill, you have flexibility, you have deterrence to engage the system. Where you need to apply deterrence, you apply deterrence. Where you need to apply diplomacy, you apply diplomacy. But in a situation where you feel you have the monopoly, and we don't live in an era of monopoly, we live in an era where people contribute. Nigeria is not just a nation of idea, it's a nation of reality. And these are the reality we are facing today. Idea is different. The reality of what we are facing today are hugely unemployment, poverty, lack of food supply, and lack of engaging the citizens. We don't want to see a repeat of what is happening in Kenya. I saw where the Kenyan president have collapsed and cried. Now, if you remove humility and remorsefulness in leaders, nothing happen apart from anarchy and violence. Arrogance will key in, sycophants will key in, and then the country will go into crisis. So what I'm saying is that as someone who have been around the corridors of shaping power and politics, I expect the government to apply more of diplomacy, more of engagement. It wasn't President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that created this problem. He inherited it, and he knew he inherited it. And he said that I inherited it because I will solve the problem. Now, if you do not solve the problem, you are making effort to solve the problem, People are not feeling that effort. You can't tell them that we cannot talk. There are so many channels of talking. There are so many channels of organizing town hall meetings to engage the citizens. Most of these things are not like people like us that are stranded trying to call for this. What do I benefit from funding protests against the federal government of Nigeria? What am I going to benefit from it? And I've said this severally, we will never be part of pulling down the roof. The government must be careful from using their hand to pull down the roof.
Alhaji Kabam, let me ask you, pointedly too, do you think that the government of the day has capacity to do right by the Nigerian people?
Well, capacity depends on the composition of the government. The president alone have no capacity to drive the system. That's why there's a provision for ministers, cabinet assistants, and so on and so forth. If there is no engagement on this component that form a government.
But what we have seen so far, do you think that we have the right drivers to get the nation to the desired point?
Let me tell you the buffers of presidents. The buffers of president are 5, and there are 2 that make them 7. First, the clearing house of the president, chief of staff. The media house is under chief of staff. Protocol is under chief of staff. Security of the village is under chief of staff. The entire itinerary of the presidency is under chief of staff. An oversight function.
So if President Tinubu fails or succeeds, Femi Gbajabiamila should be held responsible.
He will completely be accomplished to it. Let me give you the buffers. You need to know.
Who is the chief of staff?
It's the chief of staff. Number 2, you have the NSA, who coordinate the security agencies of the country. No, everything that happened that has to do with intelligence or failure of intelligence or failure of implementation or failure of coordination. He is in charge of coordinating that. How he coordinated, how he liaises with the strategic sector of intelligence, the architecture of the security agencies is critical. Number 3 is the SGF. SGF coordinates the Federal Executive Council, the activities, the memos, and so on and so forth, the project and project implementation. Number 4 is the head of service of the Federation, who deal with the core civil service and image making and image laundering of the government. Number 5 is the Minister of Information, who dish out information in relation to government engagement and activities. How he dish out those information matters. How he relates to Nigeria and what government is doing matters. So these are the buffers around the president. And if these buffers, if these buffers are not coordinating properly, there's no way you cannot have crack in the government. It is impossible. It is practically impossible.
But from what you see, are they working well?
I've not seen the coordination. Probably at individual level, they are doing what they are doing. I know a bit of what NSA is trying to do, trying to coordinate, work hard, and you can see there are level of achievement in stabilizing the security, the criminal element, the gang leaders are being eliminated in one way or the other under prosecution, and so on and so forth. But the critical sectors that create these buffers, if they are not in tandem, if they are not on the same page, if they don't share information and ideas, citizens will not be communicated. And if there's a discommunication, the president will suffer the bashing.
In your own view,
of the nation.
Do you think that this government is on the right track?
Yeah, because of what I have seen, if they are on the right track, nobody will talk about protest. If their policies and programs are well tailored towards the mindset of Nigerians, nobody will talk about it.
So they are missing the point?
They miss the point. We talk about the palliative. We talk about the transport sector. We talk about the security. One of the traditional rulers mentioned, if you can take care of insecurity, farmers will go back to farm. The farming season that we are, I want anybody to come and tell me where the federal government has subsidized fertilizer for farmers. Where and what location?
Let's conclude this program now. Allow Alhaji Shehu Gabam 30 seconds to his final statement on the state of the nation. You said the president must, as a matter of urgency, address the nation. But aside that, they need to roll back if necessary on some policies. They need to move faster on some policies if there are going to be new ones. But in your own view, what should come top as those policies that needs to be put in place urgently?
As the #1 chief marketer of the country, the president and commander-in-chief, he have laid some very good achievement, particularly the local government financial autonomy. These are conversations they should take to the grassroots. They have created a base for conversation, engaging Nigerians, how they will leverage this very callous poverty that is ravaging the country, lack of food supply. Once the local government are in charge of their funds, they can expand the agricultural sector, they can create employment, they can fix their community problem, local government problem, the pressure will come down. Secondly, the president as commander-in-chief, I've said this before, needs to purge 75% of his cabinet. If you want to move on, the mindset of Nigeria in the last 2 years is not the same mindset that we're having today. He came in at the time the country is at the crossroad. He took over a country that was on its knees. And he knew he took it when it was on its knees. He promised to fix it. What I expect him to do is to pick people that understand what the country is going through. Right. You cannot go and pick somebody that have no any background and you give him in the ministry that will take him 2 years experimenting on what to do.
Alhaji Shehu Gabam, thank you so much indeed. Alhaji Gabam is the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, this SDP. Thank you so much indeed for that.
A great pleasure, thank you.
Well, that's our show for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m., God willing. God bless Nigeria. Bye, everyone.